best fit. Obviously he's always been a max player, so that's always been the team had to have max cap space, so on and so. And we haven't been here much, right? But for this particular time, Max was a lot different. And I asked him, I said, listen, this is going into year 24. You don't owe anybody anything, right? You've accomplished more than any player has ever accomplished. You got every record, all the stuff. Let's find one foundational thing to build off of. And if I asked you that, what would it be? I don't need to answer it now, but let's just try to find that. And so he said, okay, fine. Took a day or so, and he called me back. And he said, okay, man, you know what? I just want to have complete happiness. And I said, great, let's start there. And then we talked about, what does that actually mean? Because, it could go either way. Happiness is, it's not like you're getting a box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. Like, what do you describe it as such? And so as we're going through it, we got to a place where happiness, okay, so if it's about happiness, then it can't be about money if it's about happiness, because if it's the most money, then it's not necessarily the most happiness, etc. So we kind of got there. And so where we landed was, this is not about money. Obviously, I don't want to play for $1, but at the same time, I'm not basing this on the premise of finance. And this will be based on whatever I choose to do, when I choose to do it, how I want to do it. I said, okay, great. And I said, okay, so where are you right now? Give me an understanding of where you're at. And he's like, well, here's where I'm at. Here's where I am. I said, well, where are you at in terms of returning right here where we at? And he said, 80%.
So 80%
okay,
he's going to return to the Lakers when you had this first conversation. How long ago was this?
First conversation. This was weeks ago. I mean,
So several weeks ago, he's 80% likely to return.
Yeah, several weeks ago. Yeah. And then as the time went on, he's thought about things more. It kind of went down and down and down.
So
50%,
you're checking
30%.
in. He's like, now I'm down to 60% or whatever it is, returning to the Lakers or whatever that percentage.
Yeah. And once he got to a place to where he said, listen, man, I understand where things are, and I get it. I know that's where I could probably make the most money. But, for me, where I'm at today, it's probably not the best thing for me to do. I probably will just go away from that. So and I said, are you 100% sure? And he said, yes, I'm 100% sure that that's not a place I would want to return.
So in the meantime, you're calling him, I'm 80% likely to go. A couple days later, you're checking in. The percentage has gone down, in other words, and every call, the percentage keeps going down until he's like, I'm 100% out.
Yeah, and I double and triple check, like, are you sure, so on and so forth. And
what
and
changed?
He said, yeah,
it doesn't seem like, so if he's 80% likely to, so how does his happiness affect it? He's already aware of all the circumstances.
I don't know, Max. That's a good question. And I didn't, when these type of things take place, I didn't want to dive in it too much. And when you talk about the happiness of it all versus the team, that can get a little convoluted there. So I didn't want to. I'm just like, okay, I just want to know, because if I have to set the table, and this is one of the teams that's out, that are actually in, and then now they're out. Well, there's two parts that come to this. I also have to place the call, because that team has to have an understanding of it, and they have to go on and do their business as well. And so the one thing we definitely wanted to do was be conscious of that and be respectful to the organization.
So
in
you
that
call
manner,
Pelinka?
Yeah, so Rob and I, and Rob and I, we talked. The first day that they can talk to their own player, I talked to him and JJ. We talked. And we've had cordial conversations throughout, and I know there were stuff, there were public talks about us supposed to be meeting and things like that, and we were trying to figure out what that looks like and get things aligned. And it just got to a place to where Brian was like, there doesn't really need to be a meeting.
Did they make an offer? Did the Lakers extend an offer?
There didn't need to be one. There wasn't a place to where we needed. They wanted to bring him back, obviously, but there didn't need to be one, and I didn't want to waste anyone's time.
So when you talk about happiness is what goes into that for